Hey everyone, I'm back again with another vlog about my game. Merry post Christmas. My my family doesn't really celebrate it, but nonetheless, I still hope that you all had good ones if you do, and if you don't, I still hope you had good days then. But yeah, it's been a little while since the last video, so let's get to it. Now, the majority of the content that I had implemented for this part consisted mostly of creating the user interface for the inventory and hooking it up, which took a really long time. But I'll get back to that a bit later once I show some of the features that I had implemented beforehand. To start, I've added weapon combos now. So beforehand, I had all sorts of attacks mapped to different keyboard or mouse presses so that I'd be able to showcase all the different attacks of a particular weapon. But now I was able to dilute this a bit and combine some of these attacks into a single input so that now there will be a particular animation or attack steps depending on whether or not there is a chain of input or button presses. So, for example, here is the first step of the Great Sword's light attack chain. You can see that uh, if you don't provide a follow-up input soon enough, then it will continue to just play the first step. In addition to that, I've also added rotations now, so that um, that way, before you swing your weapon, you can now correct where you would like to swing to, if you aren't locked on. That way, if you swing your weapon and an enemy just so happens to move slightly to your left or your right, then you can make that fine adjustment so that um, you'd be able to actually hit them and not be stuck attacking nothing. You know, so now if you press the input fast enough, then it will move on to the next step of the weapon combo, which will play the second attack, having its own damage multiplier and its own separate stamina costs, so that each attack can feel different and do different kinds of things. So some weapons might only have one attack step. For example, this rapier, its heavy attack will only have one attack animation. There will be no step after that, while some others, some other weapons may have more than two attack steps, such as this unarmed or like this fist animation, in which will be the default of your weapon slot if you have nothing currently equipped. As you can see, three it has three steps: the first one, second one, and the third one. Um, this also applies to two-handed actions as well. So, as you can see, the light attack for the great sword will have two swings, whereas the heavy attack for the great sword in particular, the first input will actually be a pose and not be an actual attack, and as you can see, the pose, since it's not actually dealing an attack, will have a lower stamina cost. And then if you press it again, then the swing will have this buildup will have a second massive swing, which will do a bunch of damage, but also cost more stamina. As for the attack button placements, for one-handed actions, the light attacks for the left and right um, will be mapped to the mouse clicks, while the heavy attacks is currently mapped to the left control and Z. Um, this will be until I find better places to put them. So this is definitely momentary. For two-handed actions, the light attack and heavy are both mapped to the mouse clicks, like that. As you can see, some of the animations will need a bit touch up, and I'll be getting to that very shortly. But I just wanted to show you that this all works now. Now, in addition to weapon combos, I've also rigged up consumable items. So, say I've used up all my magic, as I did right now, and I'm currently clicking so that I can, cast magic, but I don't have any magic points left. So, if I wanted to be able to refill my charges, um, so that I'd be able to cast again, if I have in my current item slot a magic potion currently selected, and if I were to press X, which will use it, then it will activate the item effect of whatever you have currently selected, or your current item that's selected, in which case will be this magic potion, which will restore my magic and refill it so that I have a full magic points. So now I can continue to keep casting like this again, or casting my magic like this again. So as you can see that there's a count here, and um, this will display the amount of items that you have currently in your inventory. So if I have 0, then I can no longer consume this anymore. So I won't be able to spam this and keep refilling my magic gauge um, as much as I want, and it will be stuck like this. So that way, once I don't have any more, then I'm really out of luck, and I'll have to get more in order to be able to continue refilling it. Uh, I also have one for health, but since I haven't really implemented damage from enemies yet, there wouldn't be any effect unless I did. Or, you know what? You're gonna see this anyways. So, like, let's say I was to change my health to, say, 10. So you can say, so say I'm really low on health and I have some health potions equipped, then I can just use the consume, and then it will restore my health to whatever set amount that this potion will have. So yeah, if I run out, then I can't use it anymore. But yeah, so I've created a system which I can allow consumables like this, consumable items, to have any effect that I would want it to have. Um, so yeah, now let's get into what was a real huge pain in the ass to set up, which was the user interface. Um, well, starting on the lighter side, first of all, I've created a simple emote system where if you press V, you will bring up a menu showing the current emote animations that I had created so far, in which you can choose and select which one you would like to play. This was more of, so, well, for example, so like, let's say I wanted to bow, then I would just select this first one and press enter, and then it will um, play that animation. Now, this was more of a side note slash fun thing that I wanted to do because, all the other UI stuff was just so tedious to do without taking breaks from it. Um, Also, once I implement multiplayer stuff, I wanted there to be some form of interaction between players. So, so yeah, that's what I have currently going for that. I'm gonna continue expanding the amount of animations that I have, and then I'll have it working like the inventory animation or the inventory system where you can select your particular set of animations um, that you want to have in your cycle. Uh, but I'll be getting that on a much later stage of the project because I wanted to get more of the more important stuff out of the way first. So next, if you press I, as you might have seen earlier, it will bring up the uh, inventory menu. And I know that it's looks pretty ugly right now with the horrible text and the horrible color scheme and just the horrible looking boxy design in general. But I didn't want to spend too much time just, making actual pretty um, kind of interfaces, and I just wanted to get something that would work. Now, the inventory that I have set up is currently separated into three tabs. One for the player stats, which will have your level, your health, and your stats of your currently equipped items, or your currently equipped weapons, and your current defense and resistances, and the like. Um, Next is the equipment tab, which will have all the icons of your currently equipped items or weapons, and then to the right will be the details of in which whatever you navigate to of whatever is currently selected, it will display the details of that particular weapon, in which consists of the item description or the stats, as well as the icon and the name and the type of weapon that it is. Now, if uh, you were to select a particular slot, then it will load up the items of the same type from your inventory so that you may um, select which one you would like to replace your currently equipped item with uh, to another item. So in this case, currently if I currently want to replace my greatsword with something else, then you I can navigate through my inventory of items that I currently have right now, and as you can see, there's a bit of affordance about the the sort of effect that it will have on your player stats. So because this greatsword is particularly powerful with physical and light damage that equate to 250, if I were to switch to this staff, which only has 35 physical power and 35 fire, then your attack power for that particular slot will be reduced to 70. And if it's lower than you're currently equipped, then it'll be displayed in red, like that. Whereas um, if the weapon will reflect a change in which your attack power will be greater than what you have currently equipped, then it will be reflected in green. But if it's the same, then it will just remain white, like that. And so if you were to select it or press enter, then that item of what was right there will be replaced with the item that you select. So say I have this, since I have this rapier currently in my second slot for my right hand. If I wanted to replace that with this short sword, then it will do so, and it will actually replace the weapon that I currently have on my character, like this. And so before um, I had it so that you can cycle between all the different weapons that I had made. Now it will be actually limited to what I desire in the game, which will be two different slots per hand. And so if you want to switch to a different weapon, then it's just as simple as going into your inventory and changing it to another weapon, like that, and it will retain all of its animations, its stats, and everything of that weapon. Um, but yeah, well, this also works for consumables too. So as of right now, I only have one health potion, so I can't really cycle through all the slots. But if I were to add in this magic potion, then I'd be able to cycle between the two like this. So like that, and I can consume it, and then it will replenish my magic like that. Um, this only works for weapons and consumables. I haven't really implemented. I haven't got it to work for accessories like this, like cosmetic items like this, as well as armor, because I haven't really implemented armor and cosmetics yet. But I'll get to that next, and it should be very easy to implement it with the system that I have right now. But yeah, this is what I had worked on since last time. I'm like I said, I'm sorry it's been quite a while. Uh, I've also been pretty sick for a bit, so it was especially harder to get through the more tedious kinds of tasks like this, such as rigging up the user interface, which to me really wasn't as fun as the other stuff, but is very necessary nonetheless. Um, I plan to get armor instances next, so that you can actually change armor pieces and it will modify your appearance as well as your defense stats. And then after a bit more cleanup, I'm going to start moving away from these user controls or these user oriented systems and then moving towards world interactions such as NPCs, items that you can pick up, actions that you can do in the world, as well as enemy AI, so that there will be a bit of feedback for the player within the world and to make it feel more like a game. But yeah, I hope this was cool to see. Thank you for those of you who watch and support me. It's really, really motivating, and you know, it continues to inspire me to keep working really hard on this. But yeah, I thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.